Hello everybody, it is March 6th, 2021 at 12:10 p.m. and today we're doing something a little bit different. I'm wanting to do a post commentary of a Trapper match that I just had on Dead Dog, and full disclosure, Dead Dog is probably my favorite killer map. Like, anytime I get on it, I'm always so pumped just because I love the whole aesthetic. I think it's such a cool idea to be fighting in a Midwestern town with a bunch of like vultures all over the place, and you got the piano in the saloon, and there's a bunch of gallows with like the little trapdoors that drop. It's just such a cool map, and I was super excited to play it, but things didn't go very well. It was a really rocky start, so I'm going to show how to adapt to the match and adapt to the survivors you're playing against. And before we get into the match, I just wanted to go ahead and show off my loadout, which is Pop, to try to hold on to the gens that I can tell are being worked on. If I'm getting hooks, then Pop works. Like, if I'm gonna get a lot of hooks, Pop works better. But if you don't get very many hooks, this perk doesn't really do too much. And you have to know which gens to put it on. So it's a bit of a risk reward. Monitor, so I can, 1, see a lot more whenever I'm not in a chase, and 2, so I can potentially sneak up on people quicker than they'd expect. Brutal Strength, which I think Brutal on Trapper is one of the most powerful things you can do, because with Trapper you can completely shut down loops, right? If someone drops a pallet, you can just set down your trap and completely shut it down, or if you're feeling like it, you can just break it quickly with Brutal Strength. I think Brutal, I don't know if I like it more than Agitation on Trapper, but it's definitely one of my favorite of his teachable works. And then Whispers to help me find survivors a bit earlier than I should, and know if there's somebody that could be seeing me place down trap, right? Because if Whispers is on, then somebody might be looking at you, somebody might not. But if Whispers is off, you know for certain that nobody is looking at you placing down your traps. So some of the more sneaky ones you can get away with doing. And Whispers is also perfect for the 1v1 who can get to the gate first type of end game you can find. I don't want to spoil how the match goes, but I do think that Pop and Brutal were the two perks that ended up helping me the most in the match. And for my add-ons, by the way, I'm just running brown add-ons, the sack and some gloves to help me with the setting speed, and Trapper sack, which should be base kit in my opinion. I don't know why the Trapper doesn't have his sack like by default, but yeah, let's go ahead and get into the match. Alright, so here we are in Dead Dog, and one of the first things I see is that I have a trap directly in front of me. I can't carry more than 2 traps on hand, so I need to find a place to go ahead and put this trap at instantly. And I see a pretty good loop right here. A lot of people like to try and loop me around here, so I know that this is a good spot to have it. There's grass there too, why not? I go ahead and pick up the trap instantly, and now I want to go ahead and try to start to find maybe some generators that might be worth protecting, and trapping some loops around it. I already have a trap there at the, I think it's like a water spigot or something, and so I want to try and trap this area and make it to where these houses where a lot of people like to run at are pretty dangerous. There's two or three generators around this area, so it's worth it to go ahead and get it. And I can hear that there's also somebody on this generator to my left. I get stuck on the geometry a bit, which, I don't know, it's just how it is playing on console. But here, I go ahead and I find this Nancy, and I chase her around for a bit. And this Nancy, she's alright. You know, the way that she played, I definitely do think that she was maybe trying to go for like a blind the killer challenge or something. I don't know. But she goes ahead and she drops this pallet, and instantly I see the generator above me just got finished, and this guy is going, based on the way that he's running, he's going to go ahead and drop off the ledge right there. So I try and bait it out for a second, get stuck on the place, and then I hear him drop. And at that point, I go ahead and I drop the chase on the Nancy and start chasing Felix. But this Felix, as it turns out, this was a mistake chasing this dude. He is, I don't know. I really could not get him. But yeah, at this point, I've lost the generator and still don't really have anybody hooked, which is not where you want to be. I don't have very many good traps set up. I'm kind of just trying to play reactionary against these guys, and things really aren't going so well. I keep chasing this Felix, and instead of going through the door that I already broke, I break another door, which thank God I had Brutal, you know, but this, these chases are not going well in the slightest. This Felix manages to play this pallet really well, and at this point, I'm like, okay, there's not much I can do. I miss him at the window, and I'm already starting to get a bit tilted, you know. What am I supposed to do here? Do I just want to keep chasing him around this really wide building? Probably not. So I decided to go ahead and leave him and try to see if I can find out what other gens are being worked on. So hopefully I can finally get a hook. And I see that they're working on the gallows. So I start heading that direction, and sure enough, there's 2 people there. It's the Nancy being healed, and I think, yeah, Dwight was healing him. And, hold on, let's see that again. Who did I hit? Nancy dead hards, and I hit the air and hit Dwight? Hello? What happened? I've watched that clip a few times, and I really don't ever see Dwight in that clip ever. But okay, so we're going back on the Nancy again. I managed to injure Dwight, which, you know, is good. If I had Sloppy, it'd be even better. But finally, at 3 gens, I have my first down. This is a losing game, honestly. Like, if things really don't start to go better from here, I am not going to win this game. But I go up here, and I bait out the drop from the Felix, and sure enough, he just runs right into me, thank God. And I'm able to go ahead and pop this gen. Alright, hold on. Let me explain this trap. The entire idea behind it was, it'll let me know if somebody's coming up here to work on the generator, and it might trap somebody, probably not, but at the very least it'll give me some intel and potentially let me know what to do whenever they eventually do come up here. Don't ever do this trap though, it's terrible. That trap's really bad. Really, like, don't use it. The entire reason as to why I wanted to have it there was maybe I could trap somebody, you know, if they're really not looking, but I really just wanted it for the intel. You know, I want to know if they're going back up to work on that gen, and sure enough, here in just a second, you'll hear that they end up disarming it. There you go. But this Nancy's trying to get my attention. She just got unhooked. Why would she want my attention? Probably because Nancy has decisive. But whatever, you know, she's the first person I see. I don't want to go after the guy that just got unhooked, so I want to keep chasing Nancy, and she just kind of goes nowhere. I don't know what her plan was here. I don't know why she didn't try and play that pallet or go to Shack or something. Alright, this is where you want to be as the trapper. I have a trap right here that nobody has seen me place down to my knowledge, and I have a hook as well. If I can get this girl to the hook and put her there, if she's playing with her friends, she won't be able to call out and be like, hey, trapper placed down a trap here. She'll, in fact, probably say something along the lines of, hey, this dumbass trapper didn't place any traps. You're good to go ahead and pick me up. If that works, great. They don't see it. However, what I'm really wanting to have happen is whenever they go for the unhook, someone tries to loop me around and then runs into that trap. We'll see if that's what ends up happening, but this right here is the booyaka place you want to be at as trapper. So now, will this trap end up working? Place your bets. We'll definitely see if it ends up catching anybody whenever she gets unhooked. But this is 100% how you want your traps to work out. I go ahead and give her a little head shot or head nod because, you know, she was trying to get my attention and then maybe missed her DS, maybe it was outweighted. And so I'd seen also that the generator that was on the gallows was being worked on, but for some reason I decided to go ahead and pick up that trap, and I think that because I took the detour to get that trap, I wasn't able to get this pop off, but I hear Dwight drop, and so I'm like, okay, I'll go after this Dwight. Look at the hook to see if anyone falls for the trap. No such luck, and I just lose sight of this Dwight. I see the scratch marks going back into the saloon, and so I know that he's around here, but it felt bad. Like, the entire time that I was chasing these guys, I just kept losing their scratch marks in the grass. I don't know why this Dwight didn't want to try and continue to run me around the saloon. He instead just kind of ran nowhere. He takes me to this pallet, and we chase around for a little bit. I try and do a mind game. He doesn't fall for it. I get stuck on the geometry, and then he just kind of runs right into me. Once again, brutal strength coming in clutch, making it to where I can get people, and I wait out the dead hard, and just gets free down. A lot of the time, whenever people have dead hard, they want to play like the exact same way, which is to say they'll wait until you get right up to them, and then they just instantly dead hard. Like, they don't even wait to see if you attack. They'll just say, oh, he's close enough. He's going to go ahead and swing. And so I just go ahead and wait it out. I was trying to place another trap right here to maybe be able to set up a bit of a basement thing, but I only have one trap on hand, and the trap I was placing there, the door didn't really work out, so I just put one at the window and think less of it. I see the Ash right here, but I hear the generator, and I know that the generator needs my help. Thank God I got to it in time. Still, I'm at 2 gens, essentially 1 gen, and I have no hooks. Don't be like this Ash, though. This Ash decided to just wait there for me and then go down. I really don't know what he was planning on doing there, but instead of picking him up, I know they're about to get the unhook in, so I want to go ahead and try and... If the person who came there was injured... There we go. I was going to say, if the person who there was injured, you can get them downed, but it was the healthy Felix who went for it, and I see that Felix ran away. He went back to the saloon, so I know that it's safe for me to go ahead and pick up this Ash, but Nancy shows up. Hey, Nancy, let's go ahead and chase her into... Wow. The trap that I placed at the very beginning. The trap I was hoping to get with someone, with Nancy on the hook, but instead Nancy herself just ran into it. So we go ahead and we put Ash on the hook, and I hear that the Dwight was able to get picked up, so I just go ahead and go straight up for the Nancy and try to get her on a hook as soon as I can. I'm pretty sure that right as soon as I saw from the scratch marks right there, right as soon as I go to put her on the hook, someone's going to try and get for the Ash. And so, sure enough, I find Dwight here. I do the exact same thing I did before, but if you notice, we've seen his Dead Hard before, right? We know that he has it, and yet, whenever I'm chasing him right here, he doesn't use it. Why would he not use Dead Hard? He's not exhausted on the ground. Spoilers, he has Decisive Strike. Same with Ash right here. He does a little spin, hoping that I'll hit him and pick him up instantly. Because he has Decisive Strike. Whenever survivors have DS, they just play in the most, like, look at me type of way possible. And it's such an obnoxious perk to play around. Like, people really just, they have no fear whenever they have DS. I find the Felix right here. I know I can wrap up the match right here by just keeping the Ash on the ground and going after this Felix. And sure enough, Felix is right here. I guess he wanted to maybe go for a borrowed time play, but he wasn't able to make it to the hook in time, and I get him down. And unless Ash has Unbreakable at this point, the match is over. You know, there really isn't anything that they can do. So I go ahead and I put this Felix up on the hook over here and begin my search for the Ash, which something kind of funny happened. Since LEDs came out, you know, Power Struggle is a perk, and so I see that Ash has managed to wiggle himself in here, so I said, oh, he has Tenacity, Flip Flop, and Power Struggle. Yahoo, this is going to be a lot of fun. But whatever, I decided to go ahead and pick him up, and he either missed it, or he just didn't have it. We will definitely see it in the post-game chat. But regardless, I go ahead and I put him up on this hook, and, you know, that's game. Everyone's dead. Thank God, too, because this was a completely losing match, but by slugging people at the correct time and playing around Decisive Strike, the title of the video, I was just able to make such a unlikely comeback, right? Had they continued to play a bit better and not want to be in my face the whole time, I would have lost, 100%. This was a losing match, but because they had DS and they had all these cool perks, they really wanted to do it, and sure enough, it was the Nancy, the Dwight, and the Ash who were all playing stupid. Let's look and see what perks they have. Oh, look. Decisive, Decisive, Decisive. If you have Decisive, don't play like an idiot with it. It can be really helpful if you're being tunneled and, you know, you're trying to protect yourself from the killer, but more often than not, survivors just want to play it in the most aggressive way possible. And they say, I have Decisive. I'm invincible. There's nothing they can do. And I think that this video right here is proof that just doesn't work out. Now, if they had Unbreakable, you know, maybe they could have got away with some of those plays, but because they didn't, and they just kind of counted on me being a dumb killer, it ended up winning me the match. So, don't do this, survivors. Or continue to do it. I'm a killer main, so, you know, whatever. I'll just I'll just continue to play around Decisive. But yeah, I really just want to make this video just to get that point across, that just because you have Decisive Strike, it doesn't mean that you're always going to be able to win. Or not so much that you're always going to be able to win, but that you won't always be able to get it to go off. And you should instead just try to, you know, play the game normally. Use Decisive Strike as a last resort if you're being tunneled, but don't count on Decisive Strike to save you. Anyhow, I think that's going to wrap it up for this one. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.